Could you tell us of any like major struggles or issues that you've run into in the past? Yeah, like what would you say is the biggest struggle or problem that you have faced up until this point?
The biggest thing I would say is just muting everything and everyone around you, muting all their
Right.
thoughts, muting all their opinions, anything that is negative. You got to get that out of your environment. You are your environment. All right. So if you've got
Right.
your parents saying your parents aren't supporting you, your friends aren't supporting you, your girlfriend isn't supporting you, whatever it is, that was the hardest part for me. And I still experience it. A lot of my friends, I'm sure a lot of my friends doubt me. I'm sure my parents still doubt me, but I know where I'm going and I can see it. Like the only person who will see your dream is you. And so you just got to be your own cheerleader. So that's probably the hardest part, just
Right.
like keeping healthy, right? At times I'll go into like small little ruts of depression, but then I'll kind of come back out, but no one can bring you out of those little ruts except for yourself, right? And so that's probably the hardest part about entrepreneurship, that roller coaster of just like, oh, I'm at the top, yeah, I can do this, and you're like, man, I failed, right? And then just bring yourself back up to keep trying and trying and trying, right? And so the fact that I've been doing this for a while now, I don't know how long, but the fact that I'm making money and I've been making a bit more money every single year shows me, like, it's just, I got to remind myself that you've gotten this far, you can't give up now. Think of what you were back then, and then think of what the things that you've done to get yourself to the point that you are now. It's just remembering your successes. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And I remember that you were actually like enrolled in like two different school programs that you had end up leaving because you had actually sort of found that success in doing the other work that you were doing. Could you go into that a little further if you don't mind?
Yeah, so the first school that I did go to after high school was York University. I found that their music program wasn't really right for me. I just wanted to be pushed a bit harder, so I ended up going to Humber College, right? It was great, learned a lot, but after 2 years, just didn't feel like I needed it anymore. So I left, right? And dropping out of school, I did have a plan. If you're going to drop out of school, always have a plan. All right, because if you have a degree, you can make way more money. But I knew where I was going. I knew where I wanted to go. So it was easy to drop out for me. But yeah, things just weren't going the way I wanted to after a few years after a bit of time at those school programs. So which is why I left. And then I'm very, very happy that I dropped out of school, because having a music degree, it's a bit different from having like a business degree. A business degree, people will hire you. Having a music degree, no one cares about a music degree unless you're like teaching at a school or something. They want to see the people you've worked with.
Right.
So even if I did have a degree, I would have been at the same spot that I was 2 years earlier when I dropped out of school. So like say if I just finished my degree, it would have been this year, right? This 2019. I would be in the same spot as I was back in 2017 when I first dropped out of school. Because when I dropped out of school, that's when the real learning began, right? I was playing a lot more gigs, really figuring out what I wanted to do with my life, with my music. I knew I wanted to make music, but I had to figure out how I was going to make that music. Whereas like if I stayed in school, I wouldn't have had that kind of brick wall hit me until I finished school, right?
Yeah,
so,
you would just be out a little bit more money and
exactly,
out a little bit more time.
So I saved 2 years of my time. I saved around 20 grand of money.
Yeah.
Right. And I learned like a ton of stuff. So like it's good. But again, if you don't have a plan,
of course,
if you don't know what you're doing, stay in school and finish that degree, because it'll be a lot easier to make some money to fund whatever you do end up wanting to do.
Yeah. We're not trying to like espouse
stay in school.
Yeah. We're not trying to say, hey kids, drop out of school, guys. Because of course, you gotta be a little bit more intentional with that. And so we've talked about your struggles in the past. Is there something that you're currently facing? If you feel comfortable sharing that, like a big struggle that you're currently going through, or it could be a small issue. But yeah.
The biggest thing would be just kind of changing my career path a bit, just diverging it from being a session drummer, which is you're just playing gigs for people, playing shows, doing studio sessions, into becoming an actual artist myself. So as opposed to when I was just a full-time session drummer, I was doing a lot of gigs, I was making money, I was teaching and all that. But now my income has gone down dramatically because I'm trying to pursue something that I care way more about. And I see so many people on social media and they're just doing it so well. So I'm seeing that, I'm like, crap, I'm not there yet.
Right.
And I'm like, man, I suck. I get a bit depressed. But then I have to remember, I'm as good of a drummer I am because I made all this money too. I did this drumming thing for a few years before I became an artist. So I have to remember, like, they can't do the things that I do, and I can't, if they won't be able to do the things that I do, and I won't be able to do the things that they can do. But like with time, we'll eventually kind of meet there if we choose to.